Vance. I am always pleased to speak with the guru himself, the equity guru. Chris Parry is with me. We're talking markets, buddy. How are you?
Good. How's things with you, TV star, radio star of all media?
Don't you know who I think I am? Hey, I'm a first glance with Jody Vance, or first and foremost. I gotta, I love this gig because you teach me something every time we talk. And there's a lot to be said about what is happening in the world right now, whether it be, watching the stock market, the ups and downs, lots of red numbers, then all of a sudden a surge, or we're watching gas prices where one day it's like, what? The highest gas prices in North America and Vancouver. And then all of a sudden,
they're giving gas away
down.
in cereal now. It's crazy.
What the hell? Like how do we even monitor what's happening?
We have a guy in our sales team who bought a Hummer just before gas prices went nuts, and it's been in the garage undriven for a couple of years. He's just cracked it out. He's like, gas prices are low enough, I can go to the Costco.
Oh my God. That's for real. I got a Prius Prime and I was very lazy about plugging it in because I don't live in a place where I can drive into somewhere and plug it in. I have to actually run something across the sidewalk.
Okay.
And I've really gotten into it now. It's like a game. Like, how do I? And inflation, and we're seeing the war impact things, and COVID and post-COVID and budgets and whatnot. Is there a way to really forecast what we're witnessing now?
Not accurately, because none of it really makes a whole lot of sense. Like, okay, so gas prices went crazy because Putin was invading countries and OPEC was kind of hoping that they could turn over the US election by keeping gas prices high. Soon as Biden won, down goes gas prices back to a place where they can make money. And so, now people are buying their Monster Energy drink at the gas station instead of Safeway. But who knows what interest rates will do from month to month? Who knows, what part of inflation will hit you and what part won't? Government inflation numbers are a lot different from what we see. I tried to get a cheeseburger delivered to the office last night and was like, $19? Like, what is happening out there? So it's a mess, really. Going into Christmas especially, no one's going to drop prices heading into Christmas. So, keep a good solid hold of your pocketbook. Don't go too crazy. And if the recession that we've been promised since COVID finally hits in an official way, then, probably best to just hide inside for a while under the mattress.
Hide inside for the mattress. It's really hitting me in my romaine lettuce. It's hitting me in my salad. Like I love a Caesar salad. I'm lucky enough to have a significant other who is a chef, and he walked in the other day with a bag and said, "Do you want to know how much I love you?" And I said, "A lot." And he goes, "No, $9 romaine. That's how much I love you." And I was like, wow. I mean, first world problems in that we actually have the $9 romaine, but it seems to me what you just laid out will feed the anger, frustration, and the narrative of battling one another and partisanship in politics to say, OPEC was literally keeping oil prices high so that Biden wouldn't make it through the midterms and that red wave would be there, because that opens up markets in a way that are favorable to the oil industry, I'm assuming. And then just how the politics at play really impacts Jim and Joan public.
I think the real problem is that the politicians are not public servants anymore, right? Like, there was a time, whatever party was in power, there was at least advancement in society. There were things that were broken would get begrudgingly fixed. Now, like, people in the cannabis industry in Canada keep saying, well, the US any second now is going to pass an act to legalize cannabis. In what world will they pass any act?
Anything.
Like anything at all. You could write a bill saying it's illegal to stab nuns in the neck with a spork, and you wouldn't get two parties in the US to vote on it because none want to make the other one look good by letting anything get passed. So there's not going to be any cannabis regulation. There's not going to be descheduling it from Schedule 1. It's just going to keep being this treadmill, and Canada's stuck in the same crap, right? What's happening in Alberta right now is ridiculous. So it's going to be Alberta versus the feds. It's going to be the Fox News watchers versus the non-Fox News watchers. And I thought we'd had enough of that last year, but it just seems like everyone they want to protect their freedom. And you say, freedom from what? And they're like,
I don't know.
COVID mandates?
It's really quite something. So where are we putting our money? Where is the safe? Are we just, okay, it's gold and that's it?
So there's a lot of people sitting on cash right now, especially since cryptocurrencies have imploded.
Yeah.
We
Can you
saw that
explain that to me?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
About 5% of the wealth of Bitcoin is held by about 8 people, and nobody knows who they are. And so when they decide to cash out, that means crypto collapses, and that's what we've been seeing. It scoots up to 80 grand per Bitcoin, and those guys are like, great, so I'm now sitting on $500 billion, cash out time. And the other problem is the exchanges where most of the money sits are not federally backed, insured institutions under regulatory control. They're just guys who eventually say, if I pretended I was dead and just turned everything off, I could have $1 billion. I'll do that. Like, honestly, Jody, if you came at me and said, all right, you're dead from now on, but you get $1 billion out of it, sign me up, I'm in. And so this is happening across the crypto world, or at least the risk of it happening is across the crypto world, right? Every time one exchange wobbles, the others are all tied into it, they all wobble too. So why would you be in that stuff? You might as well take your profits, learn what it's like to be rich for a while, and that's good news for the stock market eventually. I don't think there's going to be a lot of money rolling in December, because this is traditionally tax loss selling season where everyone locks in their trading losses, of which there will be plenty, and reduces their taxes. So what's going to go up? Not much. But in January, when all that crypto cash starts needing a new home, I think there's going to be some real movement on the stock market. And who knows where it's going to come. It might be gold, it might be oil and gas, it might be tech, or it might be something weird that we haven't really set eyes on. But I know that coming out of December every year for the last 6, there's been one sector that makes a big run. Lithium back in the day, blockchain.
Uranium,
It's uranium right now is having a minute.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that lifts its head above water first is going to get a whole lot of attention. And I think that January, February, March is going to be a real interesting upward wobble. Not for everything, but certain things are going to get a lot more weight behind them than they probably deserve. We've got a client that just came on, West High Yield Group. It's a magnesium exploration company.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment we mentioned, hey, magnesium's different, the stock just went, and it hasn't moved in about 15 years. So, sudden bit of interest, and people are like, what the hell? I'll throw 10K at that. And the thing's gone from 20 cents to 45 or something. And so there's a lot of sort of coiled tension in cash right now. A lot of people are looking for the next thing. And anything that sort of looks like it's going to go, there are a lot of people who want to be first in.
Right. So, I mean, I just did another first glance, depending on where you're watching this, or you should go to equity.guru, check out First Glance with Jody Vance, see some of the people that we have conversations with. But I was talking with Amped Ventures, Anthony Brown from Amped Ventures, and he's funny. He's like, I was talking to some investors and some people, and it was like, people in Amsterdam watch this show. People in, I've got people in California that are like, I just watched your First Glance with Jody Vance. We all watch it down here in Silicon Valley. I'm like, wow, okay, it's great. Here we are sitting in this little corner of Canada, equity.guru, where your newsletters, by the way, if people have not read them, if people don't keep up with your brilliant writing style, your no holds barred, I'm coming at you, bro, even if you're my teammate, because I want to fix what's broken. Like, I just want to, shine a little light and give some love. I mean, technically, you employ me, the freelancer me, to do what I do, but there are people that might be watching what I do, not knowing about you. And equity.guru is a resource because you're not afraid to say, I got that wrong, or hello, got it right again, in the correction and how the markets are playing out. And I really wanted to just take a hot minute to point that out, because some of the conversations I've had through you have really been enlightening in so many different and important lanes for the want to be investor looking for a place to put that coiled,
Yeah. Well, this is the
right?
thing. I think companies are starting to realize that the small investor who maybe has $1,000 or $5,000 to allocate, that there is 100 more of them for every one institutional investor, right? Every one guy that can come in, take 5% of your share count, and then on a random weekday when they decide they need to buy their Mr. Something Nice, suddenly they don't have any more of your stock in their hand, and you're wondering why you dropped 30%. It's much better to have those little guys and to treat them well, and to make sure that, you know, you've got a good base of people that not only have bought your stock, but hold your stock. This is the thing that a lot of public companies don't understand. They're all trying to find people to buy their stock. Buying your stock is easy. I can tell people, I'm going to spend a bunch of money on marketing, and they'll buy your stock, but they'll sell it as soon as there's a profit, right? When you want the people who see the profit and say, I'm holding because I think long-term there's more here, and buy more, and then go to their dentist and say, hey, I bought this stock and it's done really well for me, and tell their grandpa. And like, you know, you want the zealots that are believers, not just in that they can make a bit of money off you, but that what you're doing should exist in the world. And you mentioned Amped. I'm a zealot on Amped because I was walking those guys around town before they were a public company, introducing them to investors and people who might be able to help them on their path. So I've got a vested interest in one day them getting the price tag that they, I think, warrant. But man, it's been slow going. It's a slog. Watching that company just go and grab $1 million at a time, people trading on their stock but not investing in their stock. That's been their problem. Right? They get people buying in, goes from 15 to 30, and then those people sell. And then you get more people buying in, and then they sell. You don't get that holding of the stock because it's a real long-term model, right? If you buy it and forget it, in 2 years, 5 years, you'll be surprised what you see when you look at your portfolio. But on a week-to-week basis, you can't really build a company in 3 months. You've got to go out there and do deals and let companies do due diligence with you and sign contracts, and the money comes in and there's test projects and building things. That takes years. And if the public markets are really wired for, it's been 2 weeks since you put out a news release, what is happening? And that's not how you really build a big business. That's how you build a trade.
And even with that as a standard, what you just explained there, then you throw in a pandemic, then you throw in, you know, global political disruption, and not even to the level of Russian invasion of Ukraine, which is the breadbasket of the world, and the, you know, the fuel that was flowing into the EU, and I mean China, and what has been happening in China, and the saber rattling in North Korea. Like, there's so much geopolitical impact here, and there's some significant, like a global pandemic. Do we even know what we've sustained and experienced at this point, right? Like, and people are just head spinning.
Remember the days when we used to get bored?
Yeah, no, Chris, I don't, and I pine for them. What I would give for a slow news day. I've been around a while, and it's been way too long since I was like, whatever will we talk about today?
Yeah, and then we got the meltdown of Twitter, and what the hell's going on?
What is happening there? Can you explain for somebody who is like bouncing along the surface of Elon Musk? Here's a guy who's been fantastic at everything. He's a genius. There's no denying this man is smart, but is he really destroying himself on the social media platform?
Yeah, my suspicion is, I know that the second largest shareholder in Twitter is the Saudis right now, and I imagine there's a reason for that. You know, they want access to the data of who's saying what on Twitter. And if Elon is in bed with the Saudis, well, who else could he be in the bed with? He used to be critical of China, but doesn't say much anymore. I don't know. I like the old days when billionaires just collected money and didn't want to buy right-wing news outlets or social media platforms. And
he's got my dogs fighting over here. I don't know if you can see them just off camera. Can you hear these little jerks?
They're playing Twitter out.
Look at them. They're mad at Elon Musk because look at now oh, camera shy.
Yeah.
The thing that gets me here is the amount, and you and I, we met on Twitter. We literally fought on Twitter and then became friends. I mean, we are the origin story.
Yep.
This guy feels very thirsty to me.
I think he just wants to be seen as cool. And he's realized that the only people that are ever going to call him cool are the right-wing nut jobs. And
right.
He's given up on the rest of us. He just wants to be, he wants to have minions. And, you know,
cool at any cost is bullshit.
Yeah, well, you know, buying cool has always been impossible. So, you know, he gets dumped by his rock star girlfriend and his daughter comes out as trans and he decides, right, that's it. No more of this lefty stuff. And I don't know, man, it seems like just textbook narcissism to me. If I had his sort of money, man, I think I would buy a nation. You know,
Right?
I'd just buy a small Pacific island and name it after myself and make it a utopia. I don't know that I'd be like,
invite all your friends.
Yeah, have a great time. But
have a great time. You can't buy cool.
You can't buy cool.
I like, that's a t-shirt.
You know what?
We need that.
Like, you notice that stand-up comedians, when they're small and rising, they're the funniest. As soon as they become wealthy, they're not funny anymore, right? Like Dane Cook, Eddie Murphy, Russell Peters has kind of disappeared a little bit. As soon as you don't have anything to worry about anymore, you're not funny. And as soon as you've got all the money in the world to just buy whatever you need or buy your way out of trouble, you're not cool anymore.
Yeah.
Think of all the billionaires, like Jeff Bezos. He's doing his best to do a Lex Luthor impersonation right now. Like, let your workers take toilet breaks, for God's sake. You're the second richest man.
For God's sake.
I get it. If I ever become a billionaire, Jodes, you and me will figure out how to make the world a better place. We'll spend it all.
I'm down. I'm down. Stay tuned because I believe in that. That's why I'm sticking around at equity.guru, hanging out, doing the first glance with Jody Vance and loving my time with Chris Parry. We got to do this more often. I say it every time. I'm glad to do it today.
Well, you know, the pandemic's over, so we have no excuse not to go out and have beers on a patio when it's not snowing outside.
I know where you keep the good scotch.
You do. It's true. You've seen the secret compartment.
I'll meet you there.
All right. Done.
Peace out.